thank you for allowing me to speak just one more time on this bill. And I also want to commend the Chairman of Judiciary and the Vice Chair for allowing for public input on this bill. The bill moved rather fast through its single reference through a committee. And I think it's important that we hear from the public on issues regarding their drinking water and regarding their health and regarding public safety. I think it's important that we don't just listen to the voices that we hear in this building. I think, because if you just listen to the proponents of this bill, if you only listen to the opinions of the industry lobbyists who are asking for this bill, they would tell you this is something that they really need. This recalculation is necessary if we are to expand our state's economy, if we are going to attract new jobs here. They're going to tell you this is something that we need. And make no mistake, they wouldn't be asking for it if it didn't allow for more discharge in the water. It does. It does. When you recalculate the flow, and that's the equation that you're using to calculate the flow of the river, it will allow for more discharge in the water. That is why the industry lobbyists are asking for it. So, if we're only listening to those voices and they're telling that's how West Virginia has to move forward, these are the only kinds of jobs that West Virginia can attract, well, I think then we would be leaving the public out of this, because that's not the way that the people feel who've been contacting me. It's not the way the people feel who signed that petition. I think it was 4-1 in the public hearing against this legislation. I'm getting a lot of phone calls and emails regarding this legislation. I think it is important that we talk about it. And I, for one, think it's time that we just stop, believing this tired old lie that the only thing we're good enough for here in West Virginia, the only kind of jobs we can attract in West Virginia, the only kind of economic development that we can have in West Virginia, the only kind of growth that we deserve here will be at the expense of our citizens' health, be at the expense of our citizens' safety, at the expense of something as essential as the water that's flowing from their tap. I refuse to believe that. I think that we're better than that. I think that we can look to a more diverse economy that to me hinges on promoting our rivers, our streams, our waterways. I think that we should look at the river and see it as something different, a different type of economic development, something that's largely unutilized or underutilized in our state. In the district that I represent, the district that we're in now, our Visitors Bureau and our city has invested a whole lot of money in improving our riverfront in order to attract people back to this state, in order to give people something to do and attract new businesses. We've put money into Haddad Riverfront Park, where if you're lucky enough to be here between the spring and the fall, we have live music events, during that whole time. We put in boat docks to attract recreation to our rivers. We've even attracted a nationally recognized event. It's the Sports Fest. It's a televised jet ski race that happens in the summer here. It was broadcast on CBS that puts out a positive image of West Virginia for the rest of the country based on the fact that our rivers are open for business. Our rivers are open for recreational business too, that our rivers are safe enough to have a jet ski race in. Just a short distance from where 3 years ago there was an industrial catastrophe that caused 1/3 of the state to go without drinking water for a long period of time. We all remember that. I know it was referred to a couple of times earlier that this bill has nothing to do with that. That's true. We're talking about permissible discharge. A chemical spill is not a permissible discharge. A chemical spill is a horrible accident. However, the results are still the same. Contaminants in our drinking water. The results are still the same. And speaking of the Elk River, we've made great strides in this district to improve the image of the Elk River. In just 3 short years, we have taken that river back to the tune of over $100 million investment that the city of Charleston has made without a single dime from the state. $100 million investment in our new convention center, our new civic center, that's going to have a boat dock adjacent to it, that's going to have a beautiful view of the Elk River, that's going to bring a lot of money, tourism dollars, business people into our state. And you know, it's not just about Charleston. This is just a gateway to the rest of the state. I'm sure that people coming into this state might take a day or two to go whitewater rafting. They might take a day or two to go skiing. They might shop at some of the stores in your district. They might eat at some of the restaurants in your district, stay at some of the hotels in your district. So protecting water is about economic development. And I'll cut this short and say, you know, when you join me in voting against this unnecessary bill, this bill that is an attempt to raise the amount of toxins discharged into our streams and our waterways, into our rivers, when you join me in voting against it, you will be voting for a more diverse economy for West Virginia. You will be voting for more jobs in West Virginia. You will be voting for economic development in West Virginia. You will be voting to give young people a reason to move back to this state. When you vote against this bill, you're going to be voting for the people of West Virginia, and I assure you they will thank you for it. Please vote red.